And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy.
I don't want you to protest, I don't want you to riot, I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
We're not just going to let you walk out of here.
Take a giant step for mankind.
Get together, have a few laughs.
Welcome to the Iowa Talk Guys. I'm your host, Erock.
I'm Teepee.
I'm Mel.
On tonight's episode, we're going to get you a little caught up. It's been a little while.
It's been a while. It has been. It's been quite a while.
Don't play that Stain song.
Oops. I apologize, Erock.
Yeah, it's been a while. What are we talking about, Erock?
I don't know. You tell me.
It's Road to War update.
I've been out of the country. I was in the Gulf of America.
Soaking up the rays.
Yep.
Went down there for a big rock concert celebrating the renaming of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
Yeah, like January 6th celebration.
Sweet. All right. Well, we're going to try to do the beginning of just 2025 so far. So we're recording this in March. This is a collab of what's been going on January and February, and there's been quite a bit of stuff happening. Like I said, it's been a while since we've done this. We've done one of these shows. We apologize, but here it is. So, hey, you get what you pay for. All right. It's a free show. So, starting off, going all the way back to January 20th, there's this story here by the Ukrainska Pravda. Story by Kirstine Brondvirve. That's where we need Theo with. He's really good with these Eastern European names, you know what I mean? But this is the headline reads, Finnish Parliament Speaker says, quote, world may not realize World War III has begun, unquote. So this is the day that Trump got inaugurated, right? Jussi Halla-aho, the Speaker of Finland's Parliament, has suggested that the world could already be in the midst of World War III. He has warned that ignoring the realities of global conflicts may result in even more severe consequences. Quote, if we don't know whether we're at war, it's always best to assume that we are. And apparently the Speaker of Finland's Parliament believes the world may not realize that the World War III has already begun, saying, quote, because we're trying so hard to avoid it, unquote. And he warned that ignoring the facts will only lead to greater challenges. Now, on that same day, so a lot of stuff happened, but just on this one day. Jumping over here to this Newsweek article by Ryan Chan, U.S. B-1B bombers deployed to West Pacific Air Base. The United States has sent at least 4 bombers to a military hub in the Western Pacific Ocean amid tensions in the South China Sea, the Taiwan Strait, and the Korean Peninsula. The American supersonic B-1B jets were deployed to Guam, the westernmost U.S. territory, and the Chinese Defense Ministry and the North Korean Embassy in Beijing, China, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. And real quick on that, why it matters. The deployment came as China maintained its military presence around Taiwan, which is a self-ruled island that Beijing claims as its territory, and the contested maritime features in the South China Sea, which has been going on. They've been doing tit-for-tat bullcrap in there since, Trump's first presidency. In the Korean Peninsula, North Korea continued its weapons tests, and Guam is an ideal staging area to project military power, as it is only over 1,600 miles away from Taiwan and the South China Sea, and 1,800 miles away from South Korea. Then, on the same day, while the U.S. was deploying bombers out there to that area. This is another Newsweek article, story by Ellie Cook. U.S. deploys upgraded gravity bombs to Europe.
I think you said gravity bongs.
God damn, I was in that shit, man. I never had no dope like that before in my life, man. That's the heaviest shit I ever smoked, man. I mean, I smoked a lot of shit before, man. But goddamn, man, that's heavy shit. I can't breathe, man.
Yeah, man. we need to send these guys some gravity bongs and then just make them chill out, right?
Yeah, peace.
That sounds like something that would happen out of an Idiocracy, dude.
And that's Secretary of Education.
It's kind of stupid, but his President Camacho's stepbrother still does a pretty good job, eh?
But anyway, so upgraded gravity bombs, not bongs, bombs are now stationed at military bases in Europe. The head of the U.S. Nuclear Military Science Agency has said, after it completed an overhaul of the B-6112 nuclear bomb. Why it matters. The B-61 family of gravity bombs are tactical nuclear weapons, and several iterations are deployed by the U.S. and Europe. The B-61 is the only tactical nuclear weapon in the U.S. arsenal. The rest are strategic nuclear weapons, which are thought of as the missiles that could level entire cities and threaten major global superpowers. So this B-61 is the tactical nukes that kids were running around dropping on their friends in the Call of Duty games, right?
Oh, yeah, I've been playing that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We have Black Ops 6.
So the U.S. deployed the bombers out to the West Pacific, gravity bombs to Europe.
Video games. Why do we have all this stuff if we can't use it?
Because that would cause World War III there, Erock.
Oh, okay.
But they're putting them in place as if to already have them ready to go for World War III is the other thing, right? I mean, we've been talking about this for a while. Like, the drums of war have been beaten for a minute about this whole situation.
Yeah. Is this road ever going to end?
Well, yeah, eventually. But it's going to get a lot more rockier before it gets any smoother. We'll see what happens here. So, on January 20th of this year, this is a tag tick article, most likely AI written, but 3,200 soldiers, the French army secretly prepared to intervene in Ukraine. Codename Perseus. Number of soldiers mobilized, 3,200. According to the specialist website Intelligence Online, France has been secretly training its army for deployment in Ukraine. So, in here, there's been updates to this recently where they have not seen any of these troops in Ukraine as of yet. But the article talks about apparently they've been training soldiers for trench warfare and counter warfare measures that have been happening in Ukraine on the front lines. Which, guess what? Every military should be doing that, regardless if you're going to get involved or not. You got to learn the tactics that are evolving on the battlefield. Otherwise, you're going to be left behind. Kind of like, once again, we've said on our show multiple times, Russia was watching the war on terror unfold by all these NATO nations, and then we were led to believe by the news media that they busted out and went to war with old freaking Mosin Nagants and PPSH machine guns from the Soviet era. Oh, look, they're running out of ammo and stuff.
Run out of tanks and run out of people.
Yeah, and so far, no, that's not happening. Who's running out of people is Ukraine. And now more and more videos are coming out of these Ukrainian citizens being pulled off the streets.
Yeah, is that real?
Yeah, dude. Remember we had that discussion with...
I know J.D. Vance just said it in the Oval Office, but they also said about the cats and dogs, and we stopped hearing about that.
Yeah. I don't know, but that's been talked about for a while. The older videos from years ago when that happened, some of those cities don't even exist anymore because they've just been leveled, where those people were being pulled off and sent to fight on the front lines. Remember we talked to Drew Misson from You're Missing the Point podcast about...
Using like mentally handicapped people?
Oh, they were just pulling any able-bodied male off the street. And then it became just any male, basically. And that was like 2 years ago, I think we had that conversation with them. And like I said,
North Korea too, don't they?
They had those North Korean soldiers up there. Yeah, essentially getting, what's the word? Getting their cherries popped. No, bloodletted. What's the word?
Yeah, they're learning combat skills. That's what this news article. And North Korea will be a bigger threat to Asia after combat in Russia, after gaining combat skills to make their country more dangerous security threat in Asia.
That's what, allegedly. Yeah. I mean, best training you could possibly have. And some of those videos, too, coming out of Ukraine with that stuff happening, like those Ukrainian freaking drone pilots, dude, are bastards. They really are.
Going kamikaze?
Not just that they would kamikaze them, dude. I mean, they would torment and terrorize these people. Complete violations of the Geneva Convention, like war crimes are happening. There's one video, I think we talked about it, but this dude's hands were blown off. One drone had come down and he like hit it away with his weapon and it went off, and it destroyed his weapon, blew his hands off, but he was alive, right? So he was running. He was trying to get back to help. And then another one, this other drone came and then it just kept circling him until, he got down on his knees and surrendered, and then it blew up and killed him. So like it followed him in a circle for like another, I don't know, 50 yards or so or something. Just sick stuff, dude. Where it's like, clearly the guy's out of the fight. According to the Geneva Convention, he should be allowed to get aid.
Well, if we did that, if American troops did that, they'd be fucking...
Oh, yeah,
news.
dude.
They'd be front page news. They'd be fucking people screaming and crying about how this is not okay, but the Ukrainians are doing it.
Yeah.
With our money, and it's perfectly fine.
Totally, yeah. And that's, like I said, that's not an unusual thing. Like those types of war crimes are happening all the time. And they don't like you saying, no, it's not a war crime. It's just war, man. That's how it is. It's sick, dude.
Then why have the Geneva Convention at all? Why does some countries have to follow it, but others don't?
Right. So, but anyways, skipping back to what we were talking about in January. So France was talking about training up troops, getting them ready to send to Ukraine. Germany had also the same plans. This is another Tag Tick article from January 20th. Germany plans to send troops to secure Ukraine. And Germany's defense minister said he was open to sending German soldiers to Ukraine to help secure a demilitarized zone if a ceasefire was agreed with Russia. But it doesn't seem to be like any ceasefires happening anytime soon. But once again, like I said, that should be evidence that these countries are training their military for this type of combat. Especially, like I said, the way it's evolving with the drone warfare and whatnot. You'd be stupid not to be paying attention and then trying to find ways to defeat it. And you remember hearing last month about the internet cables being cut in the Baltic Sea?
Yeah, something about that. And the drones in New Jersey. Yep. Yeah. The same time that the drones in Jersey. Well, supposedly that was just some FFA stuff. Don't worry about it. It's government. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Perfectly fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the same time that was happening, over in the Baltic Sea, apparently some internet cables being cut between European nations. Because your internet, I hate to tell it to you folks, but your internet does not run on satellites. It runs on cables.
It's like 99% of internet traffic's on cables.
Yeah.
And it all goes under ocean or underwater cables.
Yes.
They're like 2 inches thick, aren't they? Like each cable is 2 inches thick, and then there's a fucking another one that goes on top of it.
They're like a giant bundle of them, dude. So like these cables, and they're encased in all this stuff. So like they take measures to make sure that it is going to be protected under high pressure and all this stuff. So the only way that it can be broken essentially is by sabotage. Yeah. So this article by RBC Ukraine from January 20th says the West believes that damage to cables in the Baltic Sea, not Russian sabotage, per the Washington Post. So at first, everybody's like, oh, Russia did it. But surprisingly, the U.S. was like, no,
Experts from several European countries and the United States had so far found no evidence that the suspected commercial vessels deliberately committed anchor sabotage or acted on Moscow's instructions. So what happened was that a vessel apparently dropped its anchor and damaged the cable somehow. Like a 1 in a million chance of this guy dropping anchor and then catching this cable thing and then breaking it, right? Just saying it was an accident.
Yeah, the ocean's pretty big.
Yeah. These things just happen, man. It was all this war and shit happening, and this was just a total accident. I don't know.
Like the Nord Stream pipeline.
Yeah, just went and blew itself up because it didn't want to be working anymore. This is no fun doing what I'm supposed to do. I'll kill myself now. And that's what it did.
The Wall Street Journal, February 25, 2025.
This map shows the global network of underwater cables, essential for maintaining energy security and the transmission of 99% of the world's data. These cables facilitate trillions of dollars worth of financial transactions a day. Since 2023, at least 10 of these subsea cables have been cut in the Baltic Sea, shown here in red, in what analysts believe have been deliberate acts of sabotage linked to Russia.
Russia's increasing pushing of the envelope when it comes to these sort of hybrid attacks means that the Kremlin is really playing with fire.
As a result, NATO is ramping up patrols and increasing its military presence to try to protect this critical underwater infrastructure.
These cables are very, very long. The overall global cable network is 1.4 million kilometers long. You cannot protect all of it at the same time.
Accidental breaks that cause faults in the cables are common, which makes them ideal targets for attack.
We see something like 150 to 200 faults happen every year. Some of those can be caused by natural causes, but the vast majority of these faults are caused by accidental human interference. When we look at these current incidents in the Baltic, is that in some ways they do actually seem to resemble some of these kind of more accidental causes. This is also quite a clever strategy when it comes to the sort of aura of plausible deniability that it creates.
But by analysing the movements of the ships suspected of cutting the subsea cables in the Baltic Sea, it is possible to identify patterns indicating these are attacks. In one such incident, Finnish authorities seized this tanker, the Eagle-S, accusing it of deliberately cutting a critical subsea cable.
The Eagle-S started this journey in the Russian port of Ust-Luga, which is not too far from the Estonian border, and then continued onwards. Didn't make it especially far, because quite early on in its journey, its anchor was involved in the damage to the S-Link 2 cable, which is an important power cable connecting Finland to Estonia, and then continued a bit onwards as well to then also do quite significant damage to further telecommunications cables.
Marine tracking data showed the Eagle-S slowing down as it approached the S-Link 2 cable, which suffered a power outage around the time the ship passed across it. Experts say this could signal that the tanker dropped and dragged its anchor along the seabed to try to deliberately damage the cable. Images taken of the tanker appear to support that theory.
And you brought up some of that North Korea, those North Korean troops. So did you hear about some of them got captured back in January or late last year, I think it was?
Yeah, what about it exactly?
This is a Newsweek article by Sophia Clark from January 20th. North Korean troops thought Ukraine war was an exercise, which essentially it was for them, I think. North Korean troops fighting for Russia and Ukraine thought the war was a military exercise, according to videos released by Ukraine. Videos of 2 North Korean prisoners of war captured in Ukraine show them confessing via translator that they did not know what country they were in, with one of the soldiers saying he was told they were being sent on a training exercise. Here's the other thing. With that being said, we all know about the crazy brainwashing that happens in North Korea, right? I'm sure those are things that they were instructed to say if ever captured.
Probably.
So,
and then I'm reading another article where they're saying they were told they were fighting against South Korea.
Yeah, because they're all ingrained to hate South Korea and America growing up and stuff. So that would make sense. From my understanding, most North Koreans only know of like North Korea and South Korea exist, and that's pretty much it. And someplace called America that's really far away, and we hate them.
Like M. Night Shyamalan movie?
The Village.
That movie was so fucking stupid. God damn.
No. You know the best part about that movie was and when they made fun of it, what was that, Scary Movie 3? The parody?
I didn't see that one.
And was that Scary Movie 3 or Scary Movie 4?
I don't think I only saw the first.
3.
Friends, do not fear the noise of those of whom we do not speak. There is a gentle truce between our village and the creatures beyond their borders. Now, who would like to say grace? Ezekiel. Pee-pee vagina!
Amen. Just stupid, dude. Those Scary Movies were freaking out of this world. Was Scary Movie 3 also? That was the one where they were making fun of like all the M. Night Shyamalan movies, right? Where they were making fun of Sign.
Yeah, and Signs and fucking
The Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense.
Yeah, The Village. Too bad The Happening didn't come out before then. Did you guys see that one?
That one was terrible.
That was an absolutely just awful movie.
No. Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Running from the Wind. It was awful.
Running from the plants.
It's so stupid.
And if you're inside, you're fine. As long as you're inside, you're good.
Yeah, with the wind not blowing inside your house.
Yeah, you were fine. Fucking stupid movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like
dumb.
the new Captain America movie. Fucking dumb.
Yeah, I pretty much stopped watching the Marvel movies after. I think the last one that I saw was Doctor Strange, and I was like, okay, cool, dude, I get it. You guys have superpowers. That's sweet. Or was the event? What was the Avenger one where they kill that guy with the glove? I guess I saw that one.
Idea.
Endgame.
Yeah, Endgame. That's it.
Infinity War.
Yeah. So Marvel's pretty much, to me, they are beating that dead cow, and that carcass is just rotten mush at this point. You know what I mean?
Much.
That's Disney's just been running it into the ground like they have with Star Wars and pretty much all their other franchises in the last, 15, 20 years.
Oh, I didn't even know Disney owned Marvel. Well, that explains a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, they bought them, I don't know, 10 years ago or something. I can't remember, but
2009.
Okay. So
The Avengers was the first movie produced by them.
Yeah, so, and it's been a steady decline since then, and like I said, they just keep pumping it out, dude. And like I said, beating the dead horse until it's going to be, and like I said, that thing's already done. It's done for. The horse is dead. It's mush now. It's decomposed into mush and from you guys beating it. But they're going to keep doing it. Anyways, sorry, we got off on a tangent here. North Korea.
Yeah, go ahead with North Korea.
Yeah, so North Korea, these troops were captured. Allegedly, they thought it was a training exercise. And yeah, Russia had imported 12,000 troops from North Korea to help gain territory in Ukraine since October of 2004, or 2024, sending them to the most dangerous and deadly parts of the front, per Ukrainian reports. There's plenty of videos out there now of, that you can go see they're out there on the front. The New York Times is predicting what a ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia might look like, and they said it could be similar to what happened at the end of the North Korean War, or the Korean War in 1953. Have a demilitarized zone set up, blockade, NATO blockade, you know what I mean?
Didn't we talk about that before? And it'd be like, it was like 3 times the size of the current demilitarized zone in North Korea.
Yes.
In South Korea.
Yes.
And it's like a fucking crazy, it'd be like a crazy border that there's no way they'd be able to maintain that.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to bring that up. Thank you for bringing that up, dude. But yeah, there's no way that could be a reality. And yeah, what, would they expect U.S. taxpayers to pay for that crap? Forget that noise, dude. Pay for your own crap.
Sounds like Europe is going to pay more.
Maybe. Well, it sounds like also Japan's starting to build back up their military. They call their strike back capability with long-range cruise missiles and starts deploying Tomahawks to further fortify the country against a greater threat from China and North Korea. But back in February of 2025, a Daily Mail article by Stacy Libator for Daily Mail from February 19th, 2025, U.S. launches nuclear missile to show, quote, readiness. So the U.S. Air Force launched a hypersonic missile earlier Wednesday to demonstrate the nation's nuclear deterrent. It, quote, remains safe, secure, reliable, and effective. The Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missile exercise kicked off at 1 a.m. Pacific time, 5 a.m. Eastern time, from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California, just a few hours after Russia deployed its Yars ICBM for combat training. The Air Force, however, said Wednesday's launch was a scheduled exercise and, quote, is part of the nation's ongoing commitment to maintaining a credible deterrent and is not a response to current world affairs, unquote, or world events, unquote. Which is funny that we would talk about this today because one of our fans, Brandon Hitkamp, I think that's how I pronounce your name, buddy. But he sent the video today to the Iowa Talk Guys Instagram where it's showing that launch. The launch pad looks like something out of Star Wars, dude. In the video, it's wild. I shared it with you guys.
And it traveled 4,200 miles.
Intercontinental, man. It can reach out and touch you. Sitting down, drinking your morning tea.
22 minutes.
In Moscow. Yeah, they can
The hypersonic weapon was designed to hit any target worldwide in just 30 minutes after launch.
Mm-hmm. And it's capable of having nuclear payloads, you know?
Capable of carrying 3 Mark 12A nuclear warheads, each packing up to 350,000 tons of TNT.
Wow. Plus whatever nuclear radiation it would have on top of that, right?
Right. Well, I mean, we have what, like 12,000 nuclear warheads in our arsenal, or is it less than that now?
I'm not sure.
2025 estimated the United States held 1,700 deployed warheads, 1,900 in reserve, and another 1,400 retired and awaiting dismantlement. In total, 5,177 nuclear warheads as of 2019. That's down from our peak stockpile of 31,255 warheads in 1967. Our current stockpile is 3,700 right now.
Yeah, Obama and Clinton and all of them.
And then it says the maximum missile range of an ICBM is 9,321 miles.
Yeah, just making sure everybody knows we can flex on them. But back in February, this is a real reality, not fiction ex post, saying these fools are talking about World War III kicking off this Saturday, which obviously didn't happen. But it says Israel has the largest buildup since October 7th. In it, here's a little 8-second clip. I'll play the clip on the show.
This clip is from the Israel Guys podcast, episode number 6, Egypt amasses forces on Israel's southern border, World War III about to start.
I'm looking forward to a war with Egypt, that's the truth. The Sinai belongs to Israel. The Sinai is a part of the Promised Land.
It says they're looking forward. This is a podcast. I'm not sure who. I'll have Jeeves update it. But these Israelis talking about looking forward to having war with Egypt and taking over a part of Egypt because that's historically to the Nile. That's part of greater Israel, right? From the river to the sea. And then when you fast forward here, this is an article I found, a CNN article from Sarah El Sirgani. With Gaza tensions high, Egyptians and Israelis warn of a new war.
Are we going to war? Asks a worried Cairo saleswoman upon learning that she's speaking to a journalist. The ominous question about the prospect of war between Egypt and Israel has crept into many conversations in the country. So there's a lot of tension apparently over the Sinai Peninsula, and I think Egypt's also a little upset about all the refugees being pushed into Gaza or pushed into Egypt from Gaza. This article says the main point of contention is whether Cairo has deployed more soldiers and military equipment to the Sinai Peninsula than permitted under the security provisions that follow the 1979 peace treaty with Israel. So this is a peace treaty that's been in place since after the 6-Day War. And that's hilarious that Israel is going to accuse another country of violating peace treaties and
walk around and do it freely.
Going against the rules. Breaking the rules. That's just
better be careful, dude. Don't criticize them.
I'm not.
You might be labeled an anti-Semite, dude.
I don't want my pager to blow up on me. They got Alex Stein, I saw on X. Anyways, the treaty brokered by the United States ended decades of war between both countries and set limits on Egypt's military footprint in the Sinai Peninsula, that borders Israel. It ushered in an era of close security cooperation between the two and with the U.S., and Egypt has been keen to emphasize that it is following the rules. In 2016, while fighting a local ISIS branch, it secured Israel's approval to expand its military presence in the peninsula. When Egypt reinforced its border with Gaza and bolstered its security last year, Egyptian officials insisted the deployment remained within the framework of the 2016 agreement between the two. In September, Egypt conducted a military drill in the peninsula using live ammunition, followed by a military parade in October that was attended by President Abdul Fattah el-Sisi, and media on both sides of the border have aired footage of this event and said there are signs of possible war preparations. So that's interesting. So they've been talking about this for a while, apparently. You know it.
Been talking about going to war with Egypt for last year.
Was it? What has it been since last year?
Israel and.
So
didn't they say that they weren't gonna take any refugees or whatever, and they weren't letting them leave Gaza, so Israel's getting pissed about it.
Oh yeah, so yeah, like I said, they've been being upset at each other for a few years. Yeah, you're right. But hey, did you guys see that sick drone that China just revealed not too long ago?
A new spy drone?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Well, it's pretty sweet, dude. It looks pretty much just like a rip-off of one of the U.S. drones, but, whatever. This is an interesting engineering article by Amir Coleman, March 3rd. China's new spy drone with 310-mile radar range can track U.S. stealth jets. Fantastic. So all this money that we spent in these fancy stealth jets, now they're just obsolete. That they can be found.
Obsolete.
Yeah. China has deployed its most advanced long-range surveillance drone, the WZ-9 Divine Eagle, to the South China Sea. This move significantly boosts China's reconnaissance capabilities in the region. Satellite imagery confirmed the drone's presence in Ledong Air Base on Hainan Island, a key strategic location. The deployment of the WZ-9 represents a major challenge to the U.S. air superiority, as the aircraft is specifically designed to track and counter stealth technology. The deployment of the WZ-9 Divine Eagle aligns with China's anti-access/area denial strategy, aimed at enhancing control over the South China Sea. The introduction of the WZ-9 into the South China Sea has raised strategic concerns for the U.S. and its allies. Well, yeah, now you guys can't just do whatever you want with nobody watching you. I mean, here's the other thing. It's the South China Sea. Why are we getting involved over there? Anyone? No? All right. But
Taiwan.
Yeah. Well, for what
Philippines are over there. Vietnam's over there.
Shouldn't Europe be more concerned about this crap if they want to be world police over there instead of the U.S.? But it says the Pentagon is likely to accelerate countermeasures, including advances in electronic warfare, AI-driven stealth technologies, and expanded satellite reconnaissance. The drone's ability to track stealth aircraft could push the U.S. to enhance its radar evading capabilities and improve real-time battlefield intelligence. With its cutting-edge technology and long operational range, the Divine Eagle is set to play a crucial role in Beijing's military strategy for years to come. Yeah, like I said, it could push the U.S. to enhance its radar. You mean it's going to? All this stuff, the U.S. is going to find some way to get around it, dude. They probably already do, honestly.
No, and I mean, how do they know for a fact that this thing can track our new stealth planes? Like, just because they say it does doesn't mean it does.
That's true too. And the U.S. could just let that be it going out. Yeah, tell them that. Right?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, like, think you can track our shit. That's fine.
Yeah. Let them know that's a good strategy.
Right.
Yes, say that. Yeah, and that's a good point too there, Mel. Is that that could all be part of the propaganda to fight against China as well, letting them think that they have the upper hand when they really don't. I don't know.
Well, I mean, and it could be that we're just saying like, hey, one of our biggest enemies has this new plane. We need to dump more money into our defense to make it better than that new plane too.
That's yeah. Oh yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It works both ways for the government, whichever way you swing it.
And then miraculously Boeing or whoever gets the fucking
Lockheed and Martin or whatever.
Then they spend billions of dollars on trying to make this plane, and they make like 2 of them, and then they just scrap the whole project because something else new comes out.
Oh, China came out with a new drone that can track all of our stuff. Yeah,
they're tracking all this new stealth stuff that we haven't even released yet. I wonder how that happened.
Well, and hey, that was the whole reasoning behind the U.S. starting the MK Ultra programs was, well, Russia's doing it. Korea's doing it. Clearly, we got to get the upper hand on these guys and do it ourselves to our own citizens. So, yeah, that's an old play that they've had in their playbook for a long time. Moving on, though, over 21,000 troops returned to service under a new law in Ukraine. This is the new voice of Ukraine. The old voice probably got blown up by Russia. By Alex Zavinsky, huh?
Too soon, bro. Too soon.
Oh, sorry.
How dare you?
This is another March 3rd article. Most of the returning service members rejoined the armed forces of Ukraine, while others reported back to the National Guard and the Border State Guard Service and the State Border Guard Service. Their return was made possible by recent changes to the law on military duty and service, the State Bureau of Investigation explained. March 1st marked a crucial deadline for troops who had left their units or service locations without authorization. Those who voluntarily returned before this date could avoid liability, giving them a final chance to reintegrate into the military without consequences. During this period, service members had multiple options for reporting back. They could return to their original units or go to the territorial offices of the State Bureau of Investigations, the Military Law Enforcement Service, or the National Police. The Defense Minister also designated 17 military units and 14 National Guard Reserve companies where they could officially reinstate themselves. Once they reported back, they had to submit to a request for reinstatement. From there, the process of verifying their documents and resuming their military payments began. So apparently they had a ton of people just take off.
What it sounded like. I'm trying to find this law, but I don't see a law. But that's what it sounds like, is that they just had a bunch of people take off, and then they were like, hey, we're going to pass this new law that if you guys come back, you won't get in trouble.
Yeah, but what, it doesn't say in here what happens if they don't voluntarily return.
Right, no, it does not. It doesn't even say what the law is.
That's interesting. Why would so many of them take off if they're winning, dude? Oh, you guys got this. You're doing so good, man. I'm just going to go back home and play video games. See ya. You know what I mean? Like, if they're winning, why would they have deserters? I don't know.
I'm just going to go home and be scared to death of any buzzing sound that I hear for the rest of my life.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, they're going to have PTSD from the freaking microwave going off.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Yeah, freaking out. But yeah, you know what else happened on the 3rd? On the 2nd, where Trump cuts off talks with Zelensky after a heated meeting. You guys saw that one?
Yeah, who didn't see that?
I did see it.
I'm just making sure. I don't know, man. Some people might not have seen it. You don't have
Even Saturday Night Live's fucking opening was that.
Yesterday, President Trump hosted Ukrainian President Zelensky at the White House, and it went really, really well. Everyone who watched felt at ease and thought the world is now a safer place. Here now is a replay of their historic press conference.
Hello, everyone. It is I, President and CEO of Gaza Hotel and Casino, Donald Trump. And I'd like to welcome President Zelensky here to this incredible trap. It's going to be a big, beautiful trap, and we're going to attack him very soon for no reason, right, JD?
Watch out, because this kitty's got claws.
Very butch. And Marco Rubio's here, too. Little Marco. Little Marco, are you excited to attack our European ally?
No English.
De nada. Before we get started, I'd like to thank President Zelensky for dressing like casual Star Trek. We love Star Trek because there's no DEI. The white guy was the leader, and he bossed around Spock, who I believe was Guatemalan. We love that. President Zelensky, you want to say a few words? Maybe tell Mr. Putin how much you love him and that you're sorry you invaded Russia? Maybe offer him one night with your wife?
Mr. President, with all due respect.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, I have to jump in here because that's how we planned this. What happened to thank you, okay? Remember thank you? You haven't said thank you to us once in the past 15 seconds I've been yelling at you.
I've said thank you.
You didn't say it now, but you didn't say it now when you walked in here. You didn't say thank you. You didn't say anything about us being handsome.
I'm sorry if I...
You know, you say you want to end this war, but frankly, you don't have the cards, okay? I have the cards, all right? I have skip. I have draw 4. I have reverse. I have get out of jail free. The Supreme Court gave me that one. I have Pikachu and Charmander and Charizard. All I'm missing is a Charmeleon. But without us, you don't have any of the cards, okay? You got no cards. You're playing poker, and Putin's playing Magic the Gathering. And the Russians have been treated very badly with respect to the war, and also, frankly, Honora, right? Honora was misled, and she fell in love, and now she might even lose to Brutalist. It's disgusting.
You know, maybe you should come visit Ukraine.
Hey, don't you even dare. I have been to Ukraine on Google Maps. It's a mess.
We're not playing cards. Yeah. I like how Zelensky acts like he didn't understand that analogy there.
The one guy that told him that he was a disgrace for not wearing a suit into the White House, I thought that was pretty funny, and Zelensky just looked at him like a deer in the headlights, had no idea what the fuck to say to that.
I think he had a good comeback. He's like, it might not be a nice suit as you, or maybe it will be. Play the clip. His response was kind of funny. Or he said, I don't know, wear a costume.
Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting.
I don't have such. I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe
something
something like yours. Yes, maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than. Yeah. Thank you.
President Trump has.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll play.
If you really think about it, they're costumes.
The thing is that he's trying to play. Yeah, well, I'm at the time of war. I'm a war president, even though I've seen some stuff supposedly out of Ukraine. Like a bunch of Ukrainians are pissed with him because, like, he stopped the elections due to a war, and somewhere.
Is he on the 6th year now?
Huh?
He's on the 6th year of.
Yeah, it's like a 3-year term or whatever.
I believe it's 5, but he's on his 6th.
Yeah, he's past due. And yeah, they're saying that
he's a threat to democracy.
Who's saying Zelensky's a threat to democracy?
No, I'm saying a threat to democracy would be Trump going for 2028.
Oh, yeah.
But Zelensky's okay.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
We should donate more money.
We probably should send more of our taxpaying dollars. That would help. Yeah. Seeing as how they don't know what happened to like something, 100-something billion of it or whatever it was. But Trump did say, too, when Zelensky showed up, he's like, I see you wore your best suit today or some crap like that, right? That's how it all started with the suit thing.
He's all dressed up today.
But all that was tick for tat.
Fact check
yourself. You know what? You remember what happened, though? The day before this is Epstein files were supposed to be released, and then they rickrolled the public and with a silly little gag to an X link or whatever, and then just didn't release any of the Epstein shit like they said they were going to.
Yeah, did Pam Bondi get screwed over, or?
I think she just did her part and played the game like she was supposed to.
And weren't they supposedly deleting a bunch of files and stuff?
Allegedly. I don't know. But that's a totally different show, man. And that's actually, there's like Ian Carroll. Go check out his work. He has his thumb on the pulse a lot better than we ever could be with the Epstein stuff. So, but another thing that did happen on the 3rd of March was the Trump administration cut the flow of U.S. weapons off to Ukraine. This is the Straits Times by John Ismay. Flow of U.S. weapons to Ukraine has nearly stopped and may end completely. President Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine entered the White House for a meeting with President Trump on February 28th, knowing that the flow of weapons and military hardware from the United States to his country had essentially stopped. By the time he left, after a televised argument between the two leaders, okay, so that happened on the 28th, which was the Friday. After the televised argument between the two leaders, the situation appeared even more dire. As the two men met, it had been 50 days since the Pentagon had announced a new package of weapons to Ukraine, and the new administration had said little about providing any more. Why do they keep needing weapons? If they're winning and all this shit, why do we have to keep sending them weapons? Shouldn't they be picking up these weapons off the dead? Be able to reuse them if they're in such dire straits?
They can't use the Soviet-era stuff, dude.
Yeah, they work.
Too old, man.
They only work for Russians, not for Ukrainians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't use that stuff, man.
A Trump administration official said later on February 28th that all U.S. aid to Ukraine, including the final shipments of ammunition and equipment authorized and paid for during the Biden administration, could be canceled imminently. After Russia's full-scale invasion of that country in February 2022, such shipments of military hardware from the United States were announced roughly every 2 weeks during the Biden administration, and sometimes just 5 or 6 days apart. Jeez. According to the Pentagon, about $3.85 billion remains of what Congress authorized for additional withdrawals from the Defense Department's stockpile. A former senior defense official from the Biden administration said that the last of the arms Ukraine had purchased from the U.S. defense companies would be shipped within the next 6 months. After that, it will be up to the host of European and other countries to keep Ukraine's guns firing. So don't forget also, right in the beginning of the U.S.-Ukraine war, when we were shipping them military-grade weapons, almost immediately they were ending up on the black market. You guys remember that happening?
Teepee meant to say the Russia-Ukraine war.
Yeah, I did see something the other night.
I remember seeing like cartels were buying them up and stuff.
Yeah, dude. Like they immediately ended up on the black market. A bunch of this stuff. I saw like AT-4s and a bunch of other automatic weapons and stuff we had sent to them were ended up in Pakistan. And yeah, Mexico cartels had them. Like, well, Zelensky, maybe if you guys needed all those weapons, you shouldn't have sold them on the black market. Well, I don't know. Freaking ridiculous, dude.
No.
They need more money for their cocaine.
Newsweek says that it is false. Tucker Carlson's claim that Ukraine weapons are being sold in the black market.
Oh, really?
News Nation, August 24th, 2022.
As Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky speaking to the UN Security Council today on the 6-month anniversary of his war with Russia, Putin launched new attacks on civilians, killing 22, as you can see, at a train station in central Ukraine. President Biden approved another $3 billion gift of weapons today. It's the largest weapons shipment to date from the administration, and it brings the grand total sent to Ukraine since the war began to $13.5 billion. The United States doesn't have boots on the ground. So once the weapons get to the border of Ukraine, they're in Ukrainian hands. And in some cases, they end up out of Ukrainian hands and in the wrong hands. News Nation's Kelly Meyer has been looking into that, joins us with some exclusive reporting. All right, Kelly, what specifically are we sending that's causing the biggest concern?
Well, I'll get to that in a second because we do have a photo that News Nation found on the dark web. But, we had $3 billion announced today. That brings the total to $13.5 billion. And the concern here is with the longer this goes on and the more we send in, the harder it is to keep track of. Now, experts tell me that Ukraine isn't the worst of the countries to send this to, but there is concerns for Ukrainian corruption and this ending up on the dark web or being trafficked. You can take a look at this photo. News Nation saw this Switchblade drone for sale on the dark web. Though it can't be confirmed, there is a concern of things like this happening. And how much is being funneled out, we just don't know. It's something that's almost impossible to track, especially in an active conflict. Leland?
All right. So the weapons land in Poland. We've shown the maps. They get trucked to the border with Ukraine. They head into Ukraine. Is there any way to have accountability or tracking devices on all of these things?
And I looked into that as well. And really, the thing is, if you track, then it could be hacked. Basically, if these weapons end up in the hands of the Russians, it could ultimately be used against Ukraine or anyone else for that matter. We've heard from the Pentagon multiple times that when the equipment gets to the border, it's in Ukrainian hands, ultimately wiping their hands of that. As I dug into this, I was basically told that, when you hand this over, you basically relinquish some control, and that's kind of what they're doing here. But the administration isn't shying away or trying to hide that they're concerned about the accountability factor. The Secretary of Defense has said it. John Kirby has told me it as well. But ultimately, that the risk is worth it and that the Ukrainians are using this to devastating effect. Take a listen to John Kirby earlier today.
I mean, it's a war, and things can happen in a war. We all recognize that. But we're working hard with the Ukrainians to make sure that there is good accountability, that the weapons don't end up in the wrong hands.
According to their findings about...
Tucker Carlson wasn't making that claim. He wasn't the only one making that claim.
Well, I think that's maybe their loophole.
Is that, it's false that Tucker Carlson made the claim?
He recently claimed that the Ukrainian military is selling a significant portion of weapons it receives from the United States, even suggesting that some has ended up in the hands of the Mexican cartels. The latest episode of Tucker Carlson, this is from a February 12th article.
The Tucker Carlson Show, February 10th, 2025.
Fact, not guess. Fact is Ukrainian military is selling a huge percentage, up to half of the arms that we send them. Half. And I'm not guessing about this. I know that for a fact, okay? Not speculation. And they're selling it, and a lot of it's winding up with the drug cartels on our border. So this is a crime, what's happening. Our intel agencies are fully aware of this. You tell me they're not profiting from this. Of course, you think CIA is not profiting from this? Yes, they are. I can't prove that, but I believe that. What they don't know this. I know this, but they don't know this. They know this. And no one is saying it. Like, no American seems aware of this. We're sending these arms to Ukraine, hundreds of billions of dollars, and it's being stolen and sold to our actual enemies. Like, what the? I'm trying not to swear. What is this?
Yeah, well, the reason why is because you have Zelensky, it was about 3 weeks ago, I think, was specifically asked this question. So he went at some length in one of his interviews to say, oh, no, absolutely not. There's no truth to that at all. We've implemented all these things. I know that, but the media just reported what he said.
The New York Times could get on the web and order Ukrainian weapons. That's a fact. I'm not guessing. It's a fact.
Selling it, a lot of it ends up on the drug cartels, blah, blah, blah. Tucker says, you think the CIA isn't involved? Yes, they are. I can prove it. I believe it.
Is that what Tucker said?
Yeah, that's what Tucker said. And then Harvard has debunked the claims that Ukrainian arms are being sold to Finnish gangsters, French fry. I don't know where this is. Citing a report from the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime. Additionally, an analysis from the Kyiv Post dismantled Carlson's claims by examining the types of weapons sent to Ukraine and their likelihood that reaching the Mexican cartels. Most military aid in 2024 consists of artillery systems, Bradley infantry fighting systems, and advanced missile systems, the ATACMS, none of which are practical for the cartel use. There have been no reports of Mexican criminal organizations deploying heavy U.S. artillery systems.
Ukraine has a history of being like
the black
market arms dealers. Yeah. You know that movie Lord of War? That dude's from Ukraine.
That's funny. But here's the last article or thing. False. Despite Carlson's assertions that the claim is based on fact, not speculation, neither he nor any independent sources have provided evidence to support the allegations of widespread Ukrainian arms sales. Reports from the Kyiv Post, United 24 Media, and U.S. oversight bodies all indicate that the weapons transfers are being closely monitored and that accusations of mass-scale black market sales are part of a Russian disinformation campaign.
Oh,
there's the
really?
ruling. Thanks, Newsweek.
Okay. Well, Mel, while you were talking, found a couple of articles here.
That second one's from like 9 years ago.
Oh, so they probably have the situation under control.
It's just weird that even 9 years ago they were talking about how Ukraine was a trove for black market arms trade.
Yeah.
Before we were giving them a bunch of weapons.
Publicly. This is probably when weapons started getting funneled in for the whole CIA civil war that happened there, that they're so proud of. But this is the CNN article here that you found. Pentagon watchdog finds some Western weaponry sent to Ukraine was stolen before being recovered last year, July 21st, 2023. According to the report, which examined the period of February through September 2022, the Office of Defense Cooperation Kyiv, quote, was unable to conduct required end-using monitor of military equipment that the United States provided to Ukraine in fiscal year 2022. The inability of the DoD personnel to visit areas where equipment provided to Ukraine was being used to store significantly hampered ODC Kiev's ability to execute the monitoring, the report added. So, it sounds like when they were trying to audit this stuff and find it, the auditors were not given access to certain areas and stuff. Is that what I'm gathering from this?
Yeah.
Like Doge?
Yeah. Who elected these
Big
guys?
Balls wasn't on it, or what?
Who elected the Office of Defense Cooperation with Kiev?
19-year-old.
Right. Just doing my job, sir. Yeah, okay. Cybercrime. What's this one?
It's like a question for EU Parliament. What I thought was interesting was in November 2022, the Nigerian president declared that weapons being used for the war between Ukraine and Russia are beginning to filter to the Lake Chad Basin region. So not only that, they're going to Africa too.
Well, that makes sense. There's been a ton of crazy shit happening in Africa over the last couple of years because of the war on terror.
So that's why I put that in there. I found that interesting too. That there was that's the first time I've ever read that.
I didn't know that either, but that makes sense, and it'd be easier to get it to Africa than it would be to Mexico, I guess. So that's pretty much what's been happening around the world. I know also the U.S. designated Mexico cartels as terrorist groups. That happened as well. The Trump administration just did that. So they've been having the CIA and special operators down there in Mexico messing around, working with the federales and the Mexican government and doing all this shit, capturing people. And
Green Berets down there training Mexican. They're not training the Mexican Marines. They're training the Mexican naval warfare guys or whatever.
Yeah, basically their SEALs or whatever, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And supposedly, and they've also been finding IEDs on the border. Allegedly, cartels have been shooting at border patrol members and stuff like that.
And then they said that they're making border patrol agents stop wearing body cams because the cartels are being able to
hack into them.
It reveals they're being able to get into them, and then it reveals all their information. So they're finding these dudes' homes.
They built an app too that the app reveals where the body cams are, where their signals are being picked up from or whatever, right? So they can see where border agents are at on their routes. Yeah, allegedly.
I think it was today or yesterday. The U.S. Department of Defense just approved the 4th Infantry Division's 2nd Stryker Brigade combat team at Fort Carlson, Colorado. It's 19-ton armored combat vehicles that were previously used in Iraq and Afghanistan. They're sending a brigade
Strikers.
of combat Strikers down to the border.
Well, Well, man, I've said it before, dude. We've said it on our show. Like, that's going to be a bad day. I would hate to see that if they sent full troops into Mexico, dude. That would be terrible.
They have Marines down on the border now. They're on too.
Yeah, I saw that, along with the National Guardsmen and all this stuff still. My thing is, man, so I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I think it might have been you, Mel, about Germany, Hitler's Germany. Allegedly, the story goes, they declared war on Poland when Polish troops attacked a radio station on the German border and killed some Germans. And so they declared war on Poland. That was the pretext to invade Poland. So allegedly what happened, as the story goes, is that German troops dressed up as Polish troops, and they did attack this radio station and killed people and whatnot. Like I said, that was used as the pretense to invade Poland. Kind of like the Gulf of Tonkin incident was used as the pretense to invade Vietnam. Kind of like the weapons of mass destruction was used as the pretense to invade Iraq. So, forgive me for being a little optimistic here, to where if we're going to use this as the pretense to invade Mexico, I can't really... I don't know if we would like full out invade Mexico, because I feel like the Mexican government, if it like came down to it, they'd just be like, yeah, you know, as long as you're going after cartels, like. Well, we know that they're all corrupt too, dude. That Scheinbaum didn't get there without being corrupted, man. The people clearly that were not being able to be bought off or paid off in a certain way.
She sent an additional like 10,000 or 15,000 troops to the border, Mexican troops.
Yeah.
So there's like 25,000 Mexican army troops on the border now. They're there for the cartels and shit. Allegedly.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm saying, dude. I do not see the cartels as being that stupid to like try to actually have a full-fledged war with the U.S. military. I don't know.
Well, Trump did confirm the tariffs today on Canada and Mexico.
I saw that too. Yeah, 25% tariffs.
Yeah. But meanwhile, you know, all this is going on with Doge. And Rubio signed a declaration to expedite delivery of $4 billion in military aid to Israel on March 1st. So they've approved of nearly $12 billion in major foreign military sales to Israel. Rubio stated, "We'll continue to use all available tools to fulfill America's long-standing commitment to Israel's security, including means to counter security threats, which includes $3 billion worth of bombs and demolition kits.
Oh, yeah, man. Other weapons. Duh, you always need those.
So, happy Ramadan.
How can you spread freedom without bombs? I don't know of any other way besides 556. That's right.
And do you know at Ramadan, you can't eat
ramen
during daylight hours? It's happening now, February 28th through the March 29th.
Yeah, it's like a Jewish fast.
Muslim?
Yeah, I know, but they get their same book from the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible. That's how the Quran starts off.
Abstain from eating, drinking, and smoking from dawn till sunset.
Yeah, man.
Chew gum.
Lent's coming up too soon, isn't it?
And they can't even have sex.
Mm-hmm.
From dawn to sunset, with the sole purpose of worshiping Allah.
There's nothing wrong with fasting. I think every religion does that. And that's a form of fasting, right?
Spiritual discipline.
Yeah. Pain breeds discipline, bud. Well, there you have it. That's what's going on around the world for the most part. We'll see where this leads. Maybe some beachfront properties on Gaza. You can have a Trump Tower too up there. Go check it out. Vacation in Gaza Strip. You never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, they got one of those. They got one of those all-inclusive.
Like in Cancun.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. Going on a 5-day bender.
Yeah, you can take touring trips to look at the Palestinian rubble, right? Instead of the Mayan ruins and stuff like Cancun. Yeah, you can
Whatever
go see.
happened to that red heifer shit?
Oh, yeah, we gotta do an update on that.
Did that ever work?
Some stuff did happen with that, so that's a totally other show. But yeah, you're right. We should do an update on that. We should talk to some folks or something. But yeah, that's a good one. Good one, Erock. Man, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't happen. LA fires, now South Carolina's burning. There's a ton of stuff going on, man. There's so much stuff happening that it's hard to keep up. That's why this is just a stepping stone for you. This will hopefully point you in the right direction, going out and doing your own research. So if you like the show, please like, follow, subscribe, share, hit the like button. The best way you can support us right now is sharing the show. So please share it with your brother,
your mother,
your sister,
father,
your cousin,
your Uncle Touchy,
your Uncle Touchy's friends. Share with everybody that you want to. Also, check us out on Instagram at iowatalkguys_podcast.
At Iowa Talk Guys on YouTube and Rumble. And we'll get around to updating it here.
iowatalkguys.com. Iowa Talk Guys on X.
And yes, forgive us for not having that Rumble and stuff updated. So,
oh man, I mean, he's a fucking lazy piece of shit.
Yeah, that guy. I would blame him.
And on Ramen Noodle Don.
And always remember, don't eat the yellow cake.
Don't eat the yellow snow.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Don't forget to update your Facebook profile picture to a Ukrainian flag.
Iowa Talk Guys. Out.
Hi, good night, everybody.
I ain't got a good grade.
Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
Oh, durka. It wasn't a space laser. It wasn't a murder hornet. It wasn't Sasquatch. It was a bullet.
The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You lose. Good day, sir.
Here I am with you in Iowa, and I'd rather be here. I'd rather be here. So thank you very much. Very nice. Appreciate it.